Let's turn now to St. Petersburg, Florida, another major city in the path of the storm. Mayor Ken Welch joins us now. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us.
Glad to be with you tonight.
So you're there in St. Petersburg now. I understand you're at your city's Emergency Operations Center. Just tell us where you are right now and what's ahead.
Well, now, we're playing a waiting game. We're tracking the storm as it comes toward us. We've, locked down the city, evacuated folks. We've got thousands of folks in our emergency shelters, and many more have left the city or the county, which is exactly what we asked them to do to move out of the threat of the storm surge. And so now we're waiting to see which way the storm actually tracks. As you know, a storm of this size, 20 or 30 miles difference can make all the difference in the world in terms of the impact of storm surge. But we know we're going to be impacted by the broad wind field from this hurricane. And we're bracing for that and ready to get into recovery tomorrow.
There's some predictions that say the storm surge, if it comes on a certain path, could be as high as 15 feet, which is just really impossible to imagine. In a city like St. Petersburg, what would that do? What does that look like?
Well, there are areas where it would not be survivable. We saw from Hurricane Helene just 2 weeks ago what that impact would be. That was a record-breaking storm for us in terms of storm surge at 6 to 7 feet. We've never seen it that high. And as you said, Hurricane Milton has the potential to more than double that. And so I think that really got the attention of folks that live in those low-lying areas, and we evacuated areas A, B, and C, and those folks have again moved out of harm's way, which is a good thing. So as long as folks are responsive to what we ask them to do in terms of moving away from that storm surge, not one life has to be lost from that, and that's the most important thing. The impacts of the wind is inevitable, and we have to rebuild from that. But saving lives is the most important thing right now.
Do you think Hurricane Helene having come through in some ways made it more real for people, made more people heed the mandatory evacuation who might not have otherwise?
No doubt in my mind. I've talked to folks who said they've never seen water in their neighborhoods before, and uh, that really convinced them that they needed to move this time. And we've seen entire neighborhoods that are in those low-lying areas where no one is there now. They've actually heeded the call, and I know it made a big difference.
We know there are always people who still don't want to evacuate, other people who simply cannot evacuate. Do you know how many people are left in St. Petersburg, and what's your message to them now?
Well, we started very early in this process, and this is a routine for us. We have special needs. We have transportation, door-to-door transportation for folks who need it, who sign up on a special needs registry. That we were still taking names as late as yesterday for that. And so our message is there's no reason to stay in an unsafe place. We've got shelter space. We have transportation to get you there. And folks have been very responsive to that. Really good utilization of our shelters at this point.
But Mr. Mayor, if I may, do you have any idea how many people may have stayed? How many people are still there?
I do not. The estimate for our county was 500,000 people. About half of the population were in an evac zone and asked to leave. Our cities, we think, is roughly the same thing. So, 135, 140,000 people asked to leave. And from what we've seen, what we've heard from our folks who've been out in those neighborhoods, they have been responsive. For the ones who are left, our message is at a certain point when we get 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds, there will not be emergency response. We will not be putting our first responders in danger at that point, and help will not be available.
There's also been a number of reports about construction cranes in downtown St. Petersburg, some as high as 600 feet tall, that weren't dismantled before the storm. I think a lot of folks are wondering why not, and also if people are in the vicinity of those cranes, are they at risk?
So we have done active outreach to make sure folks are aware of that issue. And again, this is a matter of the storm developing so quickly. It was a tropical storm just a few days ago, became a powerful Cat 5 in 24 hours. It takes 7 days to take these cranes down. So it's just not possible within the time span of the development of this hurricane to take those down. And so, it's a lesson learned about how we go forward, what we require in terms of the strength of those cranes if they can't be taken down quickly enough to deal with a storm like this.
Mr. Mayor, are storms like this the new normal for St. Petersburg and other areas around there?
Look, we believe in sea level rise and extreme weather and those changes. We've developed a Tampa Bay Compact of local governments who have changed our investments, our infrastructure approach for years to come. But the pace of the change is much quicker than even we thought would happen. And so we need to readdress the pace of our infrastructure improvements and how we deal with adapting to this new normal. It certainly is a new normal. These two record-breaking storms within 2 weeks of each other is evidence of that.
That is Mayor Ken Welch of St. Petersburg, Florida. Mr. Mayor, please stay safe. We're thinking about you and everyone there. Hope you stay well.
Thank you.